The Eddie Van Halen tribute rifle is done, and in this video I'm going to show you the very first results I've gotten shooting the rifle during barrel breaking. Gavin Gu here from UltimateReloader.com. This has been quite a journey. My very first high-end bench rest rifle build. I started, you're going to want to check out these stories, with the barrel work. I've got a BAT Model B action. I've got a Krieger barrel. This is chambered in 6.5x47 Lapua. I used the treble reamers, two of them, one for the body and neck area and the other for the throat. So I was able to dial in things exactly how I wanted them to be. I finished it with a target crown on the muzzle end. Things went very well. Then I went on to the stock work, and this was quite a process. I took this Wheeler Accuracy LRB stock. It comes kind of as a blank on the top. You cut your barrel channel, you do your inletting for your receiver, bed the stock, mill things out for your trigger guard on the bottom, and do a bunch of finish work. Then it was time for the paint job. So I've got the stock video, all of that stock work, doing the bedding and all of the machining as one video. Then I went and outlined the complete process for this Eddie Van Halen tribute paint job. If you're familiar with Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrat, this is kind of in honor of him and in honor of that. It's not an exact duplicate or anything like that. Wow, quite a bit of work and a lot of really satisfying hand craftsmanship went into all of that process. But there was one more thing, and that was to mount the scope. So I'm going to tell you about this Sightron SV. This Sightron SV scope is available at Creedmoor Sports. This is quite a piece of gear. I've gotten a little bit of time with it, ready to share my initial impressions. But first, I'll give you kind of a breakdown of the specs. It's got large turrets, it's got locking windage turret, it's got 10 to 50 power magnification range, which is exactly what I was looking for. It's a second focal. This is perfect for ultra precision shooting at the distances that I'm going to be shooting. The ultra fine crosshair and tiny aiming dot means that these tiny little circles are the perfect target. I custom made these targets and printed them out, and at 100 yards when I'm up at 50 power, I can see a very slight white halo around the center aiming dot. So it makes it very easy to aim with extreme precision. It comes with the sunshade, and it's got a 34mm tube, ED glass. I really like the parallax adjustment. There's actually two knobs, one for coarse adjustment and one for fine adjustment. And what I found was at 100 yards, I had both good focus and good parallax. In other words, I could move my head around slightly and not see a shift in point of aim. I'm also using Edgewood bags. I'm actually not using the rear bag yet because I'm waiting for my bag fill. So I'm using a Protector model leather bag in the rear. But I've already installed the 4-inch 4-end front bag in the Sinclair bench rest, and everything is working good. I've got a little bit of fine tuning to do with the tracking. This LRB stock has the steerable rudder on it, which really helps so that you don't get side-to-side movement as the rifle is moving backwards. After all this work and all of this preparation, I could not wait to shoot the rifle. And what I did for loads is I basically used the load that worked well in the Uintop Precision 6.5x47 build that I did. I did it with the same treble reamers, I did it to the same geometry, and I found a load with Varget and the Berger 140 grain hybrid target 6.5mm bullets that worked well. So a brief overview of what I'm using to load. I've got the Area 4190 press, I've got treble dies, I've got their bench rest cedar, and I'm actually using the mandrel neck die because I've got new brass, but I'm going to experiment with both the neck sizer, the BR neck sizer, and the full length sizer to see what's going to give me optimal results. So Lapua necks tend to come a little bit undersized. The Wilson mandrel neck expander worked perfectly to get just the right level of bullet neck tension. I'm also going to likely do some annealing with the Annealing Made Perfect Mark II when I actually get to the reloads and really get things worked into ultimate precision. So I started with Varget and the Berger 140 grain hybrid bullets. I had a charge weight of 35 grains. Any of the load data that I share with you Please just treat this as for reference only. Always cross-reference with multiple component manufacturers' published load data before you use any load data yourself. There we go. Disclaimer done. So what I saw was right away some really good results when it came time to shoot. I'm using my standard barrel break-in procedure here, which is 1 shot clean, 1 shot clean, 1 shot clean, then 3 shots clean, 3 shots clean, 3 shots clean, and then 5 shots clean, 5 shots clean, 5 shots clean. I did mix it up a little bit because I was going through some different processes, gathering groups and stuff like that. But this is the first 3 shots that came out of the rifle, and this is my bore sight job. Looked down the center of the barrel, looked at the scope, adjusted so that they agreed. Pretty proud of that. It's pretty good. 0.298 inches at 100 yards for the first 3 shots with a clean between. In fact, I wasn't even really concentrating on getting the tightest group. So you gotta love it when you see results like that. And for the subsequent 3-shot groups and the first 5-shot group, we also saw some really good performance. So the groups in MOA were 0.285, 0.297, 0.345, 0.308, 0.376, and oh yeah, the last 2 here are 5-shot groups actually, 0.376 and 0.275. So really good results with that load the first day that I shot it. And then when I came back the next time to shoot, I shot through the Caldwell G2 chronograph and I found that I had a standard deviation of 16.6 and an extreme spread of 46. I also, on that second day, saw some real variation in the group sizes, which I think is partially explained by that SD. So for instance, I shot a 5-shot group at 0.288. I cleaned the barrel. I was kind of messing with my rests, trying to get my tracking adjusted. And then I had a much larger group, as you can see here. So I thought to myself, is this going to shoot consistently? And as I was looking at more and more load data over on AccurateShooter.com, there is a 6.5x47 cartridge guide that the 6.5 guys helped to build out. I thought, for this cartridge, I should try a lighter bullet and I should move over to H4350. H4350 is an extremely popular powder in this class of either 6.5 Creedmoor or 6.5x47 Lapua. And 123 grain bullets is a great sweet spot for that bullet weight range. So I've got Hornady 123 grain ELDM match bullets. I've got Hodgdon H4350. Again, I'm using my modified case and Hornady OAL tool. This time I loaded the bullet length to bullet seating depth to the lands. I had about 10 to 20 thou jump on the other one. This time I thought I would try it a little bit closer to the lands. And the very first thing that I noticed, I shot 3 different load levels, 3-shot groups. In fact, I just finished a couple hours ago, was wow, quite a difference in the standard deviation. The first group I tried was at 41 grains. This is a 3-shot group. SD of 2.1 and an extreme spread of 4. We know we're onto something good now. We had an average velocity of 2886, whereas with the 140s we had a velocity of 2642. So I went up to 41.2. Average velocity was only about 3 feet per second higher. SD of 3.8, extreme spread of 7. Went up to 41.4. Now we're at 2906 feet per second, 0.3 average. SD of 4.9 and an extreme spread of 9. So what you can see here is in terms of velocity, things started out really, really consistent and then progressively opened up both on the standard deviation and on the extreme spread, which is a pattern that you'll see. Usually those are going to correlate to each other. In terms of groups, in terms of inches at 100 yards, we had 0.326 at 41. We had 0.515 at 41.2. I had one shot that was higher than the others. And then we had a group of 0.434 at 41.4. So here's what I'm thinking is I did shoot one more group over the chrono and the SD was 5 at that 41.0 grain charge weight. Really, really good velocity consistency. So what if I could take that velocity consistency and then work on the groups with another factor, another input? So what I'm thinking about doing is threading the muzzle and putting on an EC tuner that I just got. I have both the EC tuner brake and I just got a couple EC tuners. I might just try the tuner since this is a bench rest rifle. This could enable us to experience the best of both worlds, where we've got a tight velocity. We know that this load is going to work perfectly. Now, we're still in break-in, right? I'm still less than 100 shots through the rifle at this point. So things could move a little bit. But I'm curious to see if I can take that incredibly tight velocity and use the tuner to work with the barrel harmonics to bring those groups down to an even tighter level. Again, we're still breaking in, so doing super detailed load development, I want to get a leg up on it. I'm expecting things to settle in a little bit as we get to that 200, 250 round shot count through the barrel. But I'm really encouraged and excited about the results that I'm seeing so far, and definitely it looks like in this case, H40-350 is going to be a better powder than Varget. So what is next? I already mentioned potentially threading the muzzle and trying a tuner. I'm going to stick with these 123 ELDM bullets in H40-350, but what I might also do is stick with H40-350 and go back to the Berger 140 grain hybrid bullets, because I feel like if I have tighter velocity, more velocity consistency with those Berger 140s, we might have the best of both worlds there and have both a light bullet option and a heavier bullet option. The slower powder, H40-350, should work better with the Berger 140s if we saw this kind of velocity consistency going down to a 123 bullet with the H40-350. So, what have I learned? Well, I looked at a whole bunch of data from the Precision Rifle blog, from the 6.5x47 cartridge guide on accurate shooter. Other people's experiences are always a good starting point, but you're always going to need to figure out what works best for you in terms of components, in terms of equipment, support systems, the rifle itself. Your results will likely vary, but it's nice to have a place to start. Love the rifle. More content coming. We're going to have more on this Sightron SV. We're going to have another build coming up with this action very shortly. It's going to be a riff on this build. I'll give that hint. And what do you think? What do you think about the results that I've gotten so far? Do you have a particular bullet or powder for me to try? Drop a comment and we'll start the discussion. That concludes this video. Lots more coming. And that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications, because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later, because I'm off to go shooting.